Hey guys! Welcome to W&L Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing two movies. Ms.Paragrins Home for Peculiar Children and Selina Part 2. I messed up. Selina Part 2 is not a movie. It's the second half of a series. I'm sorry. I'll let my mom start us off talking about Ms.Paragrins Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay. Ms.Paragrins Home for Peculiar Children. If that's not a mouthful already, your tongue gets a little tired by the time you finish speaking. It is a very cute movie. It's a little odd-ish. I will say that it's not any more odd than some of the, Tim Burton movies, But it is very cute. It is a little spooky, a little bit. There's some characters that could be a little scary. I can attest to that. I'm an adult, so, or at least I pretend to be one. And anyway, there are some characters that are a little spooky. So if you have children or yourself that gets scared easily by characters, watch wisely. It is. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be like a nightmarish type, but maybe. It just depends on how easily you or child get scared. Samuel L. Jackson plays in the movie. He plays one of the bad guys, and he is pretty darn convincing as a scary dude. I can't look at him the same anymore after watching this movie. It's very spooky. His part, anyway. The children are it. I don't want to give too much away, but I want to tell you enough to make you want to watch the movie. It's very cute. It's very trippy-esque, and kind of at the end, at least me, I'm an inquisitive person. I do ask questions and things. But it's one of these kind of, they're in a loop, a time loop, and I'm not going to give too much more away, but it is, it's very interesting. I enjoyed it myself, even though there was a little bit of like, huh? Can we rewind that and watch that part again? Because I think I missed something. Excuse me. I think it is an enjoyable movie. I think that it's one that you could probably watch again and probably catch more the second or third time around than you did the first time. It is an enjoyable movie. It's one of these movies, though, I think that a fifth grader and up would probably get more enjoyment out of the movie than a younger child. But I think a younger child would enjoy the movie because it's got a lot of, unique characters. The children, as the title says, they are very peculiar. And they are very peculiar. But it is a very cute movie. I enjoyed it. I don't know what more I could say about the movie other than what I've already said, and I don't want to give too much away. I would strongly recommend this for anybody, especially if you have children or grandchildren or whatever, nieces, nephews, whatever, especially if they're about fifth grade-ish and up. Or if you just want to watch it by yourself. I mean, it is a good movie. I would say you don't feel robbed by watching it. You don't feel like it was a waste of time or anything like that. And with that, I'm going to give this to my daughter and let her tell you what she thought.
I thought it was a very cute movie. Like my mom said, I think younger kids probably shouldn't watch it. I don't think, because there are some scary parts, but again, like my mom said, 5th grade and up should be perfectly fine. It's definitely a family movie, so if you have preteens teens, I'm sure they'll enjoy it. Um, Unless they're just not into like that sort of thing. But um, I really thought the movie was cute. I thought it was just the right amount of mystery and I guess you could say confusion, but not so confusing where you don't even know about the entire film. It is it's good for if you kind of like to watch those movies where you're trying to kind of figure it out before the characters and how it's all going to play out, I'd say. So if you kind of like to do that, this is probably a good movie for you. And it doesn't quite end up the way everyone thinks it would. It's kind of like a twist ending that you didn't expect, but it's a really nice twist ending, and it works really well altogether. So if you haven't seen it, you should really watch it. It's really good. With that being said, I'll let my mom talk about the Selina, the series, part 2.
Selina, the series, part 2. Well, first off, let me just complain for a minute. It took forever for Netflix to load up, or whether it was Netflix or whom it was, to add part 2. And I mean, you're left on a cliffhanger, and cliffhanger hanging from a cliff. I was just like, I mean, not that you don't know what's going to happen, because you do. But I think I like the series a lot more because it goes into her life a lot more and what happened a lot more in depth. As the movie just kind of glazes over it, and they don't really go into Yolanda's obsession. Actually, they don't even say that she was obsessed with Selina at all. In the series, it is very much not suggested, but it was very much evident that she was very obsessed with Selina, and that she had that this was not a like, oh, oops, I did this thing. I'm not. For those of you who've not seen Selina or have not heard of her, and you've had your head stuck in the sand forever, and you're my age, then you need to be doing some research. If you're younger, like this young one over here, and you didn't know who Selina was up until the watching of the movie, then that could be understood. But Selina is no longer with us. She was taken out of this world, taken away from her family and her fans way too early because of somebody and their obsession. And the series it's, to me, I enjoyed the series a lot more. I did like the movie, but I liked the series a lot more because it goes in a lot deeper. Part 2, you get to see more of the things that Selina and her family were going through, and the fact that her and her husband were getting ready to try and have a baby, and it just makes the whole tragedy of her dying so much more, and it's so sad. And to me, every time I watch or see or hear her songs, it just makes me sad. Try not to cry. She was a very talented young lady, I mean, she was a little bit older than I was when she passed away. But the thing is, the series goes into it a lot more. If you have not seen it, I would suggest you watch the first and second part of the series. Maybe even watch the movie if you haven't watched the movie. but I would say watch the series first, then watch the movie. And you can definitely see there's a lot of information that is left out from the movie, and I don't know why, unless it was maybe they not the family, but they meaning the production people wanted to get this out soon to honor the family, to honor to fans or whatever. I don't know, but I would say watch the series first, watch the movie second, and go from there. Make your own decision. And now with my yammering, I will go and I will pass the baton to my daughter and let her tell you.
In my opinion, the Selina series is hands down better than the movie Selina. Like my mom said, if you haven't watched the movie, I would suggest watching it, especially if you haven't heard of Selina before. But again, like my mom said, probably watch the series first, then the movie, if you decide to watch the movie at all. Now that we have the series and how in depth it goes and how great it is, I don't even fully see a point in watching the movie in comparison. But then again, you might just want to purely for the fact of a different spin on things and just different information. There might be a couple of things that were left out in the series that were added in the movie. I can't recall any at this point, but you should really watch Selina the series as a whole, part 1 and 2, if you have not. Whether you were a fan, are still a fan even though she's passed, never have heard of her or whatever, you should just watch it, because either way, it's a really good movie. And maybe if you've never heard of her, you'll watch the series or the movie and get into her music, what there is of it. With that being said, I don't know what more to say other than I loved how in depth they went in the series, and how they fleshed out all of the characters, not just Selina. In the movie, they were really prominently fleshing out the character attributes of Selina, which makes sense. It's Selina, the movie. You'd want her to be like the best character, the most explained character, but they didn't explain a whole lot of the backstory of her siblings, her dad, her mom, in the movie, as much as they did in the series. Now, I'm not saying the series went into a lot of detail about them, because they didn't go into nearly as much detail about them, but they still implemented them more and had more realistic characters and more realistic people in the series than the movie. The movie, it was just, they just glazed over the fact of the family was there with her. And what I remember was in the movie, when she was going to do her her crossover album, they didn't even add in the movie the fact that it meant that she couldn't be with her band, which was her family members, which was a huge deal. That wasn't even mentioned in the movie that I remember. And I liked that they added that, because it was a big decision for her. She wanted to do the crossover album because she wanted to be able to sing in English, because English was her first language. Spanish was second. It came second when they started the band, and she had to be the singer. She had to learn how to sing Spanish in order for them to gain a following. But she always wanted to sing have an English album, because that's what she knew best. She wanted to do that, but they didn't even mention that in the movie. I don't even fully remember really them referencing the crossover album that much in the movie.
And they did, but it was just basically touched on, and that was it.
Yeah, and the crossover album was a huge part of the it was a huge thing that was going on right before she passed. Mm-hmm. It was right about to be released. They were working on the songs leading up to it, and they didn't really touch on it in the movies. And I love that they did that in the series. But that's all I have to say about that. So, with that being said, guys, if you liked what we have to say, leave a like. If you have any comments of your guys' opinions on the movie and on the series, leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you have a movie or show or whatever that you'd like us to review, comment that movie or show in the comment section down below, and maybe we'll watch it and do a review on it. And don't forget to hit subscribe and click that little notification bell to be notified every time we post a new video. With that being said, guys, we're going to see you next week. Bye!